Cheat is the latest film brought to us by Matchbox Pictures, and this is a psychological thriller from the school of Hitchcock and Brian De Palma. If you like Fatal Attraction, Body Double, Basic Instinct style films, I think this movie will be for you. Wrapped up in a roller coaster of thrills, lies, deceit, murder, and mystery. Let's talk Cheat.
Covenant, calling Raven.
Payback time.
Come with me if you want to live.
You just don't turn it off!
So Cheat was written and directed by Greg A.Sager and starring Shelby, Handley, Barrett, and Rodrigo Massa. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jason. You're watching Backtrack Cinema, and welcome to my brand new review of the movie Cheat. Now, this is a film that's brought to us by Matchbox Pictures, a film studio company who makes these movies out of London, Ontario. Don't be confused with London, England. This is in Ontario, the province of Canada, where I live. I'm close to Toronto. I'm about 45 minutes east of Toronto. So, yeah, this is a studio that prides itself on storytelling. And let me tell you, I can see why. This is the only movie I've seen from them. This will be available on September 17th on like Apple, iTunes, Vudu, I think, Vimeo, all sorts of streaming platforms. So definitely go over to one of those streaming platforms and get your pre-order, or you can wait till the 17th and you can watch it. But definitely check this movie out, though. I gotta say, I really like how this film really built suspense and tension. Great performances throughout, and this goes through this roller coaster ride of thrills and deceit, lies, murder, mystery, all that kind of stuff. Before we get started, this will be a spoiler-free review. I'm not going to dive too deep into, obviously, all the plot twists or anything like that, because you really got to experience this film on your own. And just a little history on the channel. Before I rebranded Backtrack Cinema a couple years ago, I actually been on YouTube for 4 years doing reviews. I was the J-Man's Movie Cave. And I actually have interviewed Shelby Handley, a star of this film, a couple times. I have been championing this girl. She's such a fantastic actress. When I first saw her in It's Me, Billy, a Black Christmas fan film. And then, just go and search some of her stuff. I'll even put links to a lot of the short films she's done that you can watch on YouTube. Like there's one called Sea Breeze is really good. She did one called Sledgehammer. Sisters is pretty good. I think you got to purchase Sisters from director Josh Martin. But anyways, I'm just saying this is a fantastic actress that I have always believed is going places. To see her in her first feature-length film, I think was amazing, because you just, you always got snippets basically of what she could do, and seeing her as the main character in a film like this, and just the way she could hold the character down and everything, just amazing. So Shelby, you're awesome, man. Just a great performance, and definitely get into the nitty-gritty of her performance for sure. Let's just quickly run down the plot here. Zoe's deteriorating marriage leaves her feeling isolated and longing for connection in the aftermath of a personal trauma. To escape loneliness, she blindly stumbles into a passionate affair, which ultimately leads her down a deadly path. So when I watched this, guys, I saw a director, a filmmaker, who is incredibly talented and on display here. Like, I've watched a lot of independent films. I've watched fan films, reviewed them, but I saw a really decisive, unique vision of a film, good with actors. Nothing seemed out of place. Everything flowed really nice. And it was really nice to see. Because this, like I said, my first film from these guys, and I'm so impressed. I really am impressed, and I want to see more from this company. I mean, every scene meant something and flowed to the next. You know what I mean? So great display of directing here. And I really love how this movie opens up. Zoe and her lover. And it reminded me of the very beginning of Psycho. That's where that Hitchcock style comes in. We're in Psycho where it's Marion and her lover, and it zooms in on the hotel. And now it wasn't the thing with in the 1950s and 1960s, Alfred Hitchcock was pigeonholed. Like, it would have been a hard R rating. He would have showed the nudity and everything like that if he was making films in the 80s, 90s now. You know what I mean? So I like how the director opens up this film. The story is just very much a psychological thriller. I love films like Fatal Attraction and Basic Instinct and Single White Female. Films in that nature. They always leave me on the edge of my seat. And I like where this film goes with the main character of Zoe, where she is, she had this traumatic thing happen to her. Now she's lonely in her marriage, and husband's never there. So she goes off and has an affair. And this leads the story down things. You think you know where things are going, but things take turns, and there's certain reveals that obviously I won't get into. You got to experience this for yourself. But you think you got things figured out, but it just kept me guessing. I was always watching this guessing. I'll go, I got this figured out. Then, oh, we're going there. Okay. That kind of thing. The narrative wasn't so easy to predict, right? And the biggest positive of this film for me is Shelby Handley's performance. This is the best thing I've ever seen her in. She literally had this character locked down. She was so good in this movie. She has to go through so many different emotions, and as an actress and actor, that's tough to do, man. Like, she has to show panic and fear and guilt and grief, sadness, pleasure, pain. This so many, almost every emotion in the book she shows on this. And she's a type of actress she doesn't break her character. Even when she has no dialogue, she's completely in character. She's still acting everything. The dialogue's written on her face. You know what she's thinking, and she emotes that, and she connects with the audience. So good in this. So good in this. And the director, I got to give him credit. He directed all the actors really, really well in here. He really did. He deserves a lot of credit for that, I would say, too. And Shelby really carries this film, too. I like how when she is having this affair, the film's not saying this is okay. The character's not saying, no, this is not okay. And she resonates. And I think she will resonate with the ladies. So ladies, if you're watching this review, I think you'll get something out of this movie. I think you'll really connect with the character of Zoe. And I love how you understand Zoe's motives. The motives are clear, cut, and concise. I really like how the film's shot, the cinematography. I like how there's a lot of close-ups. Why? To show those emotions, so you're connecting. You got to connect with the characters, right? And there's a lot of close-ups on this, especially of Shelby when she's going through a lot of these emotions and everything like that. There's one particular scene in the hotel with Zoe and her husband, and it literally goes for the throat. The husband gets really rough and kind of violent with her in this sex scene, and I just like how they built the tension up here. And I will say, without spoiling anything, I feel like once you know all the reveals, once you know you've seen the whole movie, that scene kind of plays out differently. It plays out differently when you first watch it, and it plays out differently after you watch it. Just the aftermath of the sex scene, they do a close-up on Shelby's face, and just it speaks volumes. You don't even need dialogue because she's saying so much, you know what I mean? And all the reveals and twists are handled very well. Obviously, I won't go into them here, but it keeps you guessing, and it really makes for an engaging experience. And the film builds really well to the climax, builds up the tension. I just like that how, you get the care about the characters first, and you're building this thing up, building until you get this tension-filled experience at the end that's engaging. Love turns to hate in the blink of an eye. And thematically, the pleasure and pain themes running through this whole movie of taking our pain and burying it, and just covering it all by indulging in pleasure. I think our characters' motives are presented, they're defined, character arcs completed, really good writing in that sense. I just think we could have used a little bit more interesting dialogue. I think we could have used a little more depth with our side characters. It's a little mixed on that. And I do like Ryan Barrett's performance. He plays the husband, Chris. Don't get me wrong. Do like it. I think for the most part, I'm even 80% of the time, I think he's really good. He's intimidating. He has this physical presence. He's this guy, he's this completely full of male testosterone, alpha male, but he is trying with his wife. He's trying to get, his wife back to connect with her again. I just feel like some of the performance at times is a little over the top, almost the way Nicolas Cage can go over the top. So I just think he could have been wheeled in just a little, but not just a little bit. There's only a few scenes I really felt like that in. Other than that, I thought he was really good too. This is a good film, guys. I think you should really check it out. So if you like the psychological thrillers in the vein of Hitchcock and Brian De Palma, I think you'll really like this one. So I'm going to give Cheat a solid B. So what about you guys? Let me know if you plan on seeing Cheat, if this is the kind of film that you think you'd like to see. Let's have a great discussion in those comments about this flick. And if you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe, share the video around. And not just for me, to get more exposure for Matchbox Pictures in this film cheat. I know they would really appreciate it as well. And go down the rabbit hole, watch for the end card. And I'll put other related reviews, other related content there that you guys can watch and all that jazz. So my name is Jason. You're watching Backtrack Cinema. I'll see you next time, and I'll see you in the movies. Cheers.